In the latest episode of The Curse of Oak Island Season 12, the Lagena brothers discovered evidence that might finally prove there is a Viking connection to Oak Island. They discovered evidence that might have left their mark on the island, suggesting that Vikings, who supposedly appeared in a region nearby, might have actually left their mark on this island. In Newfoundland, Canada, Marty Lagina and his team searched over 600 miles to find Lansos Meadows, the only confirmed Viking settlement in North America. This site, discovered in 1960 by Norwegian explorer Helge Ingstad and his archaeologist wife Anne Stein Ingstad, is proof that the Norse were on this side of the Atlantic around the year 1000, long before Columbus supposedly discovered the New World. Spanning 31 square miles, Lansos Meadows has revealed 8 structures, including what seems to be a forge. The settlement has yielded over 800 artifacts so far, from everyday tools to remnants of ancient Norse craftsmanship. According to sagas, the Old Norse tales came from Greenland, and they were there to explore this new territory for resources. Marty and his team, along with archaeologist Laird Niven and metallurgist Emma Culligan, explored further into this Viking mystery. They met Ragnar, a blacksmith trained in Viking-era techniques, who provided technical expertise on tools and materials from the Viking Age. Mark, a metallurgist with 25 years of experience, helped frame the question at hand. Could the Vikings have left artifacts or signs on Oak Island? Doug introduced an artifact that was first uncovered during a dig back in 1965, but was only recently reacquired for further study. When shown to an archaeologist in Denmark, it was flagged as being very similar to Viking-era weaponry. This arrowhead, which was not just tools of war, but also a reflection of advanced craftsmanship, is a big deal. If this arrowhead really is of Viking origin, it is a big deal. Emma Culligan, the team's metallurgist, took a closer look at the arrowhead using an X-ray fluorescent spectrometer, which used radiation to analyze the composition of an object without damaging it, which is a perfect tool for fragile historical artifacts. Emma Culligan's analysis did not definitively confirm its origin, but it did add weight to the theory. It was one more piece of evidence that suggests a deeper, older history for Oak Island than we previously thought. The team also explored bog ore, a naturally occurring iron deposit that is basically a Viking hallmark. Mark explained how bog ore, a mix of ferrous oxide and sand, was commonly used in Europe for forging tools and weapons as far back as the 5th century BC. It is also found in swampy areas, which just so happens to include both Lansos Meadows and Oak Island. If the materials match, it could be the smoking gun that ties Viking activity directly to the island. The significance of this potential connection cannot be overstated. Viking blacksmithing techniques were highly advanced for their time. If the arrowhead or any other artifact found on Oak Island was made using bog ore, it would be a strong indicator of Norse involvement. Marty summed up the situation perfectly. Oak Island has become incredibly complex. With so many different theories, artifacts, and timelines, it is a puzzle with pieces that seem to come from entirely different boxes. But every discovery, like this arrowhead or the bog ore, helps eliminate some possibilities while opening the door to others. The Viking connection adds a layer of richness to the story. It intertwined exploration, craftsmanship, and the mystery of Oak Island in a way that feels almost too good to be true. Additionally, the possibility of a connection to the Knights Templar, who are often theorized to have used Oak Island as a secret repository for treasures and artifacts, is also intriguing. The Vikings were unrivaled navigators of their time, and their expertise in navigation and survival in harsh conditions could have made them invaluable allies. The artifacts found on Oak Island over the years make things even more interesting. The evidence of Viking presence in North America is a complex and multifaceted topic. Lansos Meadows is the only confirmed Viking settlement in the region. But other clues include butternut seeds found at the site, which suggest the Norse traveled much farther south than Newfoundland. This aligns with the sagas, which describe a place called another structure, or perhaps another road line. The discovery and exploration of this road represent a chance to connect with the history of the island, piecing together the activities that took place there long before the modern era of treasure hunters and explorers. Every artifact and structure uncovered adds another layer to our understanding, suggesting that its history is far richer and more complex than anyone might have guessed from the surface. As we wait for the spring and the resumption of work, we are left to wonder about the stories that lie beneath the surface. What were the people like who built this road? What were they doing on the island? How does this road fit into the larger history of the area? These are the questions that keep historians, archaeologists, and curious minds engaged with the ongoing exploration. The stone road is an impressive piece of work, made up of about 6,000 stones, showing it was way ahead of its time in terms of engineering. It was built wide and flat, probably so it could handle lots of traffic, possibly from a bunch of people or even carts. The careful construction of the road raises many questions, encouraging the team to delve deeper into the island's past. The discovery of the ancient Portuguese stone road on Oak Island has been a significant part of New World history, providing a model for future research into the history of the New World before the 19th century. The road's construction matches well with historical events and artifacts discovered around it, particularly British coins. The discovery has opened up new chapters in our exploration for connections to the ancient ancestors of Polynesia. The road is roughly 3 feet wide and has been built in sections, sometimes with a single layer of stones, sometimes with several. The edges are neatly lined with large basalt slabs, which are then packed in with smaller stones and organic material. The road's widest point at the water's edge, where it's shaped by wave action during high surf, exposes parts of the underlying chocolate-brown sand cliffs and the road's stone structure, now partly underwater. The discovery is not just about finding an old road. It's about piecing together how advanced the builders were in their planning and execution, showing a sophisticated understanding of engineering and local environmental conditions. The stone road's construction reveals a lot about the capabilities and intentions of its creators, offering insights into the technological and cultural advances of the time. The team is eagerly continuing their treasure hunt, driven by their passion and growing curiosity about what the treasure might be and where it could be hidden. Thanks to their meticulous research, the team has formed several theories about the nature of the treasure, backed by various pieces of evidence. One prominent idea suggests that the treasure could be connected to the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar were historically known for amassing and hiding valuable items. They came under sudden and intense scrutiny on October 13, 1307, when the French King Philip arrested members of the Templar Order. Many Templar Knights escaped to Scotland Swamp, an area Rick always believed might hide something important. In a related quest, Marty's son Alex, along with Gary Drayton, the team's expert with a metal detector, and another team member, Jack Begley, are making their own discoveries. During one of their searches, Gary's metal detector went wild over a particular spot, and soon they uncovered an old metal spike embedded in the mud. This find was particularly exciting for Gary, reminding him of a similar object he once saw in a Spanish galleon from the late 1600s or early 1700s, the golden age of piracy. The thrill of possibly being the first to handle this artifact in hundreds of years was a real high point for the team. As they unearthed new clues, they began to realize the artifacts might be much older than they had thought, adding a new layer of intrigue to their search. Fred Nolan's crazy swamp theory connects back to their exploration of Oak Island, suggesting that the oddly shaped swamp was purposely made hundreds of years ago to conceal a shipwreck. If his theory holds any water, it makes one wonder about the people who might have chosen to hide the ship in such a secretive way, perhaps to protect valuable cargo. As the team digs deeper and uncovers more, they move closer to possibly finding treasure and piecing together the historical significance of Oak Island. Every artifact and each dig could potentially be a key to understanding more about the past, making the island not just a treasure hunter's dream, but also a rich site for historical exploration. The Oak Island team discovered a survey stake hidden in the swamp, indicating human activity long ago. This discovery led them to explore other parts of the island more thoroughly, including a cave with carvings on its walls. They conducted metal detecting exercises in the cave and uncovered an iron piece that looked like a strap or bracket. This discovery added another layer of excitement and motivated the team to keep searching. The team considered the possibility of finding parts of a Spanish galleon or another type of ship that had brought treasure to the island. Tori Fell, part of Reflex, doing clinometer work in the money pit, was the first to spot a significant stone that everyone else had passed over multiple times. The general consensus was that the piece could have been a strap or bracket used to hold together timber on the ship. Intriguingly, the iron rod showed signs of having been exposed to high heat, perhaps even a fire. They speculated that the fire was used deliberately to scuttle the ship as it sank into the swamp. The team pondered over the extreme actions someone must have taken. Not just creating the swamp, but perhaps even burning the ship. Carmen Legg, the team's expert in blacksmithing, dated the iron strap to the 1700s, helping the team confirm that something significant happened in the swamp around the mid-1700s, several decades before Daniel McGinnis found the famous circular depression. During their search for treasure on Oak Island, they stumbled upon another significant discovery: a stone-paved pathway submerged in the southeastern part of the swamp. They theorized this wharf could have been used back in the 1700s for loading and unloading goods from ships. Using their metal detectors, they quickly found an iron peg resembling a plumb bob, an ancient tool used to ensure that structures were built straight in a line.